Welcome to T Boys TV.
Come on.
We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 253, but of course it is a new season, League One. And yeah, before we went on, apologies, we are a little bit late. I had some issues with StreamYard. But yeah, before we get into it, it's mad to think, right, that we were doing this 2 seasons ago, talk about playing Liverpool and that, and now we're in League One. It's crazy to think. But how have you been? Obviously, you have been on the channel recently, but how have you been? How's your summer been? How have you been with feeling about the signings?
Yeah, pretty pleased with signings. We do need to make a couple more striker. Obviously, a replacement for Doughty. Summer's been good so far. Nice weather. And got another week off coming up as well, you know. So yeah, all good, man. Hope everyone else has had a good summer. And yeah, finally, fucking football's back. So let's go.
Yeah, literally, I see it like that as well. Let me go through some comments. Big up to Paul. He says, "Evening, T boys. Evening, mate. Hope you're well." Yeah, sometimes it does that, Jackie. Sometimes it is weird. Like it says you liked it, but it doesn't say you've liked it. So you've clicked on it, but it doesn't. The number doesn't go out. It's weird like that sometimes. But hopefully it's changed now. Thank you for liking as well. Big up to Rich inside as well. Says, "Evening, mate. Good to see you in, mate. Hope you're well." Yeah, sorry, Tom, mate. Sorry, I had issues with StreamYard. But yeah, we are obviously here for the Hat Show. And yeah, we're getting into that first game of the season against AFC Wimbledon. Now, be an interesting game. As we know, obviously, they did get promoted, obviously, through the playoffs. Obviously, we did get relegated, as we know. So it'd be a great showing for Sky in that sense. You know, newly promoted team, obviously, against a relegated side. You know, Friday night under the lights at Kentworth Road. And yeah, let's get a bit into it. So Wimbledon returned to League One for the first time since 2022 after winning the playoff final at Wembley against Walsall at the end of last season. And by the way, if you are going, I'm not going to this game, but if you are, please do get involved in the minute's applause in the 28th minute in memory of Luton supporter Alex, who sadly obviously passed away in June, unfortunately. So yeah, please do get involved in that if you do go. But Bloomfield going into it, and what I do like, one thing, as much as you know, I still want incomings, I still want one or two to leave. Something that is positive, that is good that they are doing throughout the whole season, is they are showing the Matt Bloomfield interviews for free. Now, last year, and I think previous years, you had to pay to watch them. You know, you'd only see glimpses on Twitter or something. So now that they're showing all of them, that's good. It come out quite early. I think it was Tuesday, I believe, I was a bit surprised of how early it was. But something he did say from it is we're going to be going into these 46 league games and all the cup games full of enthusiasm. We're really excited to take on the challenge, the task, the exception, and getting going on Friday. A bit more on Wimbledon. Obviously, they secured promotion back to League One at the third time of asking. When the Dons obviously overcame Notts County and Walsall in the playoffs. After defeats to Sutton United, Millwall and Southend during pre-season, Wimbledon have had a very few busy days in the transfer market building up to Friday night. And by the way, one of their players they've got in, so they were quite slow with their business, but one of their players, Dad, I'm going to have a bit of a memory cap for both of us. So remember when we went in that neutral away end, even though we sort of wanted Port Vale to win, so we're playing MK Dons, and they had that player who come on and scored, Hackford. He's actually gone to AFC Wimbledon. Obviously, he was on loan at Sheffield United. I believe he still is. I'm not too sure what the deal's actually like, but he's going to be there, and he probably will feature tomorrow. And I thought he was quite a good player, and you could probably see at the time why he was, you know, technically a Sheffield United player. But yeah, he is one of the players that they have gone in and signed. Team news for us. Lamine is great. It's great to see him back. Obviously, as it says in the title, he is back available. And yes, it wasn't the greatest opposition in Bournemouth, but he looked very good in that game. Obviously, did get 2 goals. It looks like he's a lot more like bulkier as well. And that is what we need in League One. We know we need physicality. We need players that are going to be up for the challenge and the fight, and it's going to be like that in a lot of games. It's going to be physical, so it's great to see that he's back. It looks like we will be sort of using him in like a number 10 role by the looks of it, judging by when he has played for us as a whole. Mengi will be out for a small period of time, so given how we come off against Southend, a lot of us thought it'd be really bad. It's come out that it's not actually going to be as bad as we anticipated, so that's interesting. And then obviously you'd have seen on social media, Joe Johnson, obviously it's not looking great for him to spend the next few months out after needing hamstring surgery this week. And obviously during the week as well, McGuinness, Holmes and Kuda all played 45 minutes for the under-21s on Tuesday, behind closed doors friendly against Northampton as well. So that's good to see. Hopefully to be fair, they'll all be on the bench really. Given the defensive injuries, maybe some people don't want to keep Holmes, but I think, with obviously the defensive players we got out, to have him on top would be decent for now. Obviously, McGuinness is one of our best defenders, so hopefully he's on the bench. And then obviously you got new signing, on loan from West Ham with an option to buy. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what is going on there. But yeah, we'll go through some more comments when it comes to that. Yeah, I didn't like that they done that because you see. And I know you said it to me the other day, Dad. You see them all on Sky Sports, like with the Premier League team. So why don't they just show the interviews? And it's good. It's good they are now, because I do like watching them as well. And to be fair, depending on when they come out, other times of the season, I might do like videos just reacting to news and stuff like I have before, especially that weekend we played Hull. I have heard we've been linked to Cameron Humphreys of Ipswich left back. You heard anything more? I've heard about it as well. I'm not too sure if you have that.
No, but I think I picked up. I'll be looking at transfer market and all that. I did notice him. So yeah, like let's see what happens. We definitely need. If you're going to replace Doughty, you've got to replace the quality, haven't you? So we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll get someone in.
Yeah.
But obviously it's a bit too soon. But there's a month left of the transfer window, and we just need a couple at the moment, so we stay positive.
Yeah, we definitely get a left back. We know this. It's just who. I think that's people's worry, like the caliber. Obviously, like you say, we need to get someone that's good. I mean, we were linked with a Mansfield. I think it's a free agent now, and he weren't even a starter for them, which ain't really convincing if we're going to be totally honest. The fact that he doesn't even start for them, with all due respect. Obviously we were linked with Dodgson. I did the video, obviously, when Doughty left. It looks like he's going to Stockport now. Looks like that's pretty much done. It just needs to be announced by Stockport themselves. And I'll be honest, they are making some good moves, Stockport. I mean, they done well last year, obviously getting in the playoffs, but, they obviously did get in low as well. I mean, I'm not too disheartened we didn't get low. I know a few fans wanted him, but I'm not, just because it's a loan. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could get 10 goals for us, say, for example, and then bang, Stoke would be recalling him, like obviously that happened with him last year. So we will get a striker. We know this because, that number 9 space, obviously the shirt numbers come out, number 9 space is still there. Again, it's just similar to left back. You just want it to be someone who's capable of doing it. I mean, I did hear links last night, and I've always rated him to Jerry Yates. Now, there was a few people saying it could be on the way of happening. I mean, we gave him Morris, they could give us Jerry Yates. I mean, I've always rated him because that season when Blackpool went down, I think he got 10 or 11 goals, and they were 23rd. Like, they were awful that year. And I remember just looking at him on flash scores, and he just kept scoring week upon week for them. He done all right for Derby last year. I think he got 10 goals. He'd be capable of doing it in League One. So, I mean, I would take him. Would you take Yates, Dad?
Yeah, I think he's proven at that level as well. And I think he's just not in their manager's plans. So yeah, of course. You want someone who can get straight on and score goals. So that's what he's capable of. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, no, 100%. For sure. Like I said, I've always rated him. I always have. And he's a player I've looked at and I've just thought, yeah, because even last year he got quite a lot of assists in Championship as well for Derby. So he could rack up, and that's the thing. As much as we want someone who's going to score goals, it'd be nice to have someone who can give someone like Nordas a bit more confidence, and things like that as well. On top of that, to chip in, get goals, get assists, because I think Nordas, I know you said it to me privately, Dad. I think his link-up play is really good. The way he gets involved and that. It's just, yeah. Just if he gets some goals, a bit of confidence alongside him, then it'll be decent. But I still think we need someone else for sure. And everyone else does, of course. So yeah, I mean Andy is a little bit different. He thinks the strikers we've currently got are good enough for this league. I mean, yeah, if you're basing it on paper, I guess you would say they are. But I think Luton know themselves we need something else. Just the fact that number 9 shirt is still, lurking about, really, that tells you all you need to know. That is the main number for a striker, isn't it? So, yeah. They like I say, I wouldn't mind, going forward in a lot of games this season, having Wells and Nordas up front as a 2. And I know people might go, what about Ali? I think for the meantime, while we don't have a left wing back, unfortunately, I think we'll play him there. And I just think Wells could give Nordas a lot of confidence to, score some goals and stuff. But yeah, that's what I think. So yeah, there's that with that. Jamie saying she loves the backdrop. Yeah, man, classic. Not quite the Dominoes one, but we still like it. Thank you very much for the super chat as well. Jamie saying the same thing again. Yeah, I'll see that. Like I say, I did mention that. Yeah, this is people's worry. Hopefully we don't. I mean, some people do compare it if we do lose him to like Chio. I wouldn't compare it that much. Chio was obviously good for us, but I wouldn't say he's been as influential as Ali has. But then you don't want it to get to a stage with Ali, and I know this sounds mad, but like where you don't want him to keep scoring, because then he'll get the looks, before the window ends. So maybe in a way, if we do play him as a wing back, that could benefit us because he won't be like he'll still chip in, make them forward runs and stuff, but he might not be as impactful as he could be if he was playing up front, for example. I don't know. It's an interesting one. When it comes to that. But yeah, your overall thoughts going into this game, Dad, Friday night, first game of the season against the newly promoted team?
Well, there's going to be a few players making their debuts and that. We've watched all of the pre-season games. They look fitter than they did last season. The structure's there. They like it to keep the ball on the floor as much as possible. They're passing it a lot more in the final third. Maybe too much sometimes. But yeah, even the game against Tottenham, they're 50% of their squad out. And we limited them to 2 chances, I believe. And yeah, we just look a lot better than we did last season. And we've got, the players that we've still kept, Lamine, Makoso, Walsh, Nordas deserves a chance. He's looked a lot better. We've seen a lot more of him, and experience with Naki Wells up front, Naismith back in there, Saville. It's a really good core of players. And yes, Huddersfield and other, but they got rid of loads of players. We knew Doughty would be going at some point. Kaminsky. Morris, we weren't too sure about. Asgard, it is what it is. It's not embedded in that team. And just to mention about Ali, I think he just looks like a monster. Do you know what I mean? Like, he looked good last season, but he looks like he's really, really worked hard and he's thriving to go. And I don't necessarily think he is looking to move. And even if he did, like, he's going to be a guaranteed starter for us, So I'm not too worried about that. I think he will definitely be able to keep him. So yeah, like we've got good attacking options, really good defense, probably the best defenders in the league, I would say, and probably one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best goalkeeper in the league. That's quite a bold thing to say, but we've seen him. He's definitely got Premier League quality. And Leighton Orient fans know exactly all about him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We should be getting back to winning ways. And not conceding goals, which we haven't really in pre-season either. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and a great time to kick off Friday night, first game of the EFL season, and two, clubs that have been down there, and Wimbledon, we all know what happened with them. They went down a lot further than us, and they deserve to be where they are. They got a nice stadium as well themselves. This Shea used to play for them as well back in the day. So yeah, they got a good manager. We were linked with him at one point, Johnny Jackson, a former Charlton player, good player as well he was. So yeah, I expect it to be. It's not going to be easy to walk that league, but we've got the quality to overcome a lot of stuff, and I think that's what's going to happen. Be a tough game because they defend really well, get numbers behind the ball. So we're going to have to. That could be where we could be at the end of the game where we definitely need someone else. Because one striker I haven't really been massively impressed with in pre-season, obviously, is Woodrow. I'm not sure if that's, because we're still unsure whether we're going to keep him. Obviously, no one's come in for him. But at that level, we should be scoring goals anyway. But yeah, let's just see what happens. It's one of them weeks. So you want to get 3 points on the board straight away. That's what you want to be doing, and that's what really we should be doing. Let's be honest. But yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And this is the thing, historically, as we know, we are slow starters. And I think as much as we've seen good signs in pre-season, under Bloomfield, and, I really like Bloomfield. I think, he's doing really well with what he can do at the moment. Just because we did go down in the end last year, I think there will be a little bit of pressure, on him to have a good start. And yeah, it is a game you would look at and think, come on, like, this is a good opportunity. Yes, they're going to be up for it. They've just been promoted and stuff, but the signs are there that we're much better from pre-season. Again, I know a lot of the teams, we probably should be, but just the sign, like, compare that to last year. It's absolutely dreadful. I'll be honest, the Tottenham game, I thought we'd lose that. Like majority of people would. I thought we'd lose, not heavily, but I thought we'd concede 3 goals and score 1. We ended up drawing, and going on Ali as well. He's looked so motivated this pre-season. I mean, if any of you watched his YouTube video the other day, that was a good watch actually, because that was quite, in detail about the time in Slovenia. But even then, before pre-season officially started, on his holidays, he's like in the gym. He's proper motivated and dedicated to do well this year. And I do think we keep him. At least this season. But if he does what we know he's capable of doing, like even in the Tottenham game the other day, the way he was just running at their players, like they're Premier League players, and he was just not afraid to take any of them on. What a player he is. But yeah, there's that. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It is going to be an interesting game when it comes to that, and all eyes are going to be on it. Like we say, it's the first EFL game of the season. Like I say, newly promoted team against a back-to-back relegated team that were in the Premier League not too long ago. So all eyes are going to be on it. Friday night at the famous Kenilworth Road. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be an interesting game for sure. But yeah, there we go with that. Jackie says, I'm just so excited for the game tomorrow. Get to see a new team. I'm forgetting last 2 seasons, start fresh. Yeah. And there's obviously stuff we still need to add, but I think, I am seeing a bit of doom and gloom from people, and I don't think it's all that bad. The pre-season's been good, like I say. Yes, we would like a goal scorer. Yes, we will get someone. It's just, will that be, one that we will have confidence in? But we will definitely fill them positions. I mean, Number 12 is the other number that's obviously still out there. So that'll be whoever the left back is. That will be the situation. But I think the rest of the team, bar like, I'll be honest, Woodrow, and maybe that's all I can think of. But the core of the team is really good. Like you say, that the defense. Yeah, I'd probably agree. It's one of the best, if not the best. And Keeley again, I'd agree with that because I said when we got relegated, I'd like to sign him or Goodman, who's went to Huddersfield, who was on loan at AFC Wimbledon last year. So yeah, I'd agree. He's definitely one of the top keepers in the league. The midfield, and I said it with the fan cam and Mike against Tottenham. The midfield, I think that's unbelievable for League One. I don't want to jinx it, but like you would think, Baptiste, yes, he gets injured now, but if we can keep him fit, for me, he's a Premier League player. So I'd say in there, obviously Walsh. The only thing he needs to work on for me is the discipline. But I just want him to get a goal desperately. Like if you went to me, who do you want to get a goal the most? I'd say him. He has got close, a couple shots from distance in pre-season and things like that. He can work on his discipline. He'll be a top player. I think he'll be top anyway, but he just them moments sometimes. And the thing is, and I've said it so many times now, but you look at the midfield we had last year, like under Bloomfield when it was working. You had Asgard, Clark, and Walsh. They're predominantly all attacking midfielders. They like to attack. Whereas now you've got George Saville to do the dirty work, basically cover, and then you can have Clark in this advanced role. That's really worked well in pre-season, I think. He's much better going forward. We've said that many times way before this. And then you've got, for me, you can toss up between Baptiste and Walsh, mainly. So that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing is the midfield. When it comes to that, when it comes to the midfield, yeah, it should be all right. But yeah, double check if you want. But yeah, there's that when it comes to that. But yeah, obviously this year, guys. Obviously, I'll say it before we get into the lineup. We are doing a score prediction thing where you guys can get involved, and I'll do a notes thing on my notes and have everyone involved. I know Jackie's doing it. Obviously, me and you, of course, Dad. And
yeah, well, I'll add the note on that as well because I'm gonna every big game bar St Johnson's and all that.
Yeah, we won't do the St Johnson's. Yeah, let me get that in. League Cup, FA Cup, and
I've asked ChatGPT what they think the score will be as well. So we'll add that in there and see how many they get right as well. So that'd be quite interesting, just to mix it up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, guys, we just thought we'd do that, be a bit more interactive. We did say we'd do it at the end of last year anyway. And Jackie did remind me kindly not too long ago. So thank you again for that. But yeah, it's interesting with ChatGPT because I know a lot of people are starting to use that with predictions to see how accurate, I guess, people can be with certain predictions. I mean, yeah, we'll add that for sure. But yeah, getting into lineups now for this game. So I'll start off with mine. My dad has gone with two. But yeah, I'll start off with mine. This is what I would go with in the game tomorrow. So Keeley in goal. That's obvious. I've gone with a 3-5-2 in this game. I do think we'll play it back three. I can't see it really changing. Longwick on the left, who's looked really good. Thought he had a really good game against Tottenham. I actually thought the first half against Gillingham, he was really good as well. He's probably our best player up until, a bit of moments in the second half. Not from him, just the team, went off a little bit. And then obviously Naismith, going to be the captain. That's another bit of positive news that's come out. He is officially the captain for the season. He's basically got, I guess you could say, a redemption arc for Luton because obviously he didn't quite go up with us to the Premier League. He did get a red card against Burnley, and then he sort of thrown out the limelight a little bit. So he'll be eager to do well this year. So I'm obviously going to put him in. Makoso on the right. What a performance against Tottenham. In the stadium, he got man of the match. Keeley got man of the match, but I'd give it to him. I thought he was unbelievable, especially against Brennan Johnson. Like, given how well he done last year for Tottenham in the Premier League, it was unbelievable. And he was last year anyway, since he come in that Watford game, as we know. But yeah, he's going to be quality. And he's adapting a lot more to the language as well, which is great to see, and things like that as well. And then I've gone with like a holding midfielder out of that three, and that is obviously Saville. You know, like I say, he can do the dirty work and, you know, sort of mop up essentially. The wing backs have obviously gone Walters, and I have gone Ali again. It's not ideal, but I will go with that. Baptiste and Clark. I am going to start Baptiste in this game. Some people might say, where's Walsh? The only reason I don't go with Walsh is because it's the start of the season. You know, we need to, you know, it's just that discipline which worries me. You know, technically he's a great footballer, but it's just that. And, you know, first game of the season, we need to get the 3 points. So just bang, you know, be bringing him on if we're in a good position or something like that. Clark, that, you know, that's a nail on for me, and hopefully he's doing that advanced role again. Like I say, really good, especially particularly against Gillingham. Obviously, did score, you know, both in the end in front of that game, wasn't it, with him? So yeah, and then the two up front, like I say, I think it could work until we get another striker. Then obviously you change it up. I think Wells and Nordas could do pretty well. I mean, Nordas has had a decent pre-season, very good finish against Southend. And then Wells has got that experience. And again, you know, when we do get a striker in, Wells probably don't play as much. You know, be on the bench probably more and stuff. But for now, I think you've got to utilise him. You know, 10 goals last year in a Bristol City side who obviously got in the playoffs. You know, I think he can bring good experience up front. You know, for me, he is, and I said it at the time, he is the Morris replacement. You know, he's experienced. He's, you know, he can get goals at, you know, championship level. Obviously, I know Morris didn't last year, but we know he has before. You know, so yeah, I'll say that because I think that could work pretty well. You know, give Nordas a bit of confidence as well. You know, because he's good at link-up play, but if he scored, you know, that'd be brilliant to see. And I know a few people in the chat do have faith in Nordas this year. I mean, like I said, link-up play, I think he's really good. It's just I'm not convinced he's going to get the goals, like loads of goals personally. So, but I could see him getting a lot of assists. So, yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, when it comes to your lineup, Dad, your first lineup, there you go.
Yeah, see, I've gone with a couple because I'm not sure if he's going to play three at the back or four at the back. You know, because I know he prefers four at the back, and so we'll see. So I've gone obviously with Keeley, and it goes without saying. Makoso, Anderson, I think, has had a really good pre-season. I think he looks good. Obviously, should probably be McGuinness there, but we're not sure, you know, because he had that illness. He might not be quite up to speed as other players. And I think Anderson, you know, probably deserves a start. Naismith, definitely there for me. I've pushed Lundvik into the left wing back position and see how he can do there for now. You know, while we're looking for this replacement, I think he's decent. He might not get him forward as much and things like that, but defensively, that's fine. Walters, I think, has earned himself a starting berth because he's looked good in that position. Let's be honest, I think he has in pre-season. Saville, you know, the holding role, and then I've gone Lamine and Clark. You know, because Lamine can do both. He's more box to box. He can defend and he can get forward as well. So yeah, that possibly if we play a 3-5-2, then yeah, and then I'm putting Ali up front with Wells. So yeah, that's if we play a 3-5-2, I wouldn't mind seeing that. It obviously is a bit of a question mark on the Wolves player, but you know, I think Matt did allude to that. You know, he sort of wouldn't mind him playing there while we and then we can utilise Ali up front. You know, when Ali was playing for Exeter, he was actually one up top, I believe. So, you know, we know he can play up front. He's actually a striker anyway. But you know, he probably is better cutting in and doing what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? But we'll see. So if we play a 3-5-2, then I wouldn't mind seeing that. And then the other one formation I've gone for is 4-2-3-1. So the four at the back, Koso on the right hand side, Lundvik left, Naismith and Anderson in the middle, and then two holding midfielders, Lamine, Saville, and then Clark in the pin, the top of that. Ali in the left, Walters on the right, and then just have Wells up front. And we've got good options on the bench as well. We've got Nordas, we've got Nelson, we've got McGuinness. Who else have we got? We've got Walsh, Baptiste. If this is, do you know what I mean? But it'll be interesting to see what he does. I mean, this is, I guess, a bit more defensive. So, we probably would go with a 3-5-2. But, if we was away against a tricky team, I wouldn't mind seeing something like this. But, yeah. So that's my ones. And, Keeley be making his debut. Naismith will play making his second debut officially. Saville and Wells, and Longvic as well. So there's going to be at least 4 or 5 debutants in any formation we play, I would suggest. But yeah, either of them for now. I mean, them 4 at the back, I mean, that's decent. And then the midfield, strong enough. We'll see, because Wimbledon are quite organised defensively, So we're more likely to go with the 3-5-2 up front. But this is my alternate formation and lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him times throughout the season. Bloomfield playing a 4-2-3-1 because he did play that at Wycombe. He tried to play it at the start for us, didn't he? But it didn't quite work. But yeah, going back to this one, I do like this one because Anderson, like I say, has done very well. We did say on the keep sell loan we did straight away that we would keep him because he's got that experience in League One. Obviously, he was captain at Barnsley, and his performances in pre-season, like I say, have been really good. So hopefully he'll still be in the limelight. And, I think if you say to a lot of fans, him or Holmes, who'd you rather keep? A lot of people say Anderson. So, if he's one of them who starts some games on the bench for some games, I don't mind. Like if he starts tomorrow, I don't mind at all. I like Anderson. I do. I think there's a good player there. It's just the injuries at Luton have been a bit unfortunate for him. And then Wells and Ali. I mean, them two were up front against Tottenham, and obviously we see how good Ali was. I mean, Wells probably should have scored if we're being honest, but still, was getting chances and things like that. And Ali was just. He was just running at everyone, and it was just great to see. So, utilise that in some sort of way, even if he does, as I say, I feel he might play as a wing back, let him still run. Because what I noticed, and it was on the other side, but still could happen, is when we played Tottenham, Makoso was covering a lot for Walters when Walters went high up. So hopefully we could do something like that on the left. With like a left centre, like Longwick. I mean, he has gone forward quite a few times, like you said, Dad. Bloomfield has said he can, play that wing back role if needed. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see when it does come to that. But yeah, a few comments. Jackie says, I like the 3-5-2. Yeah, for now I do. Until we get new signings in, it might change, but right now I'll go with that. 4-3-3 again. I wouldn't mind seeing us play that at one point. I just don't think we will, unfortunately. But yeah, Andy's got a lot of faith. He does put a lot of comments on Nordas. Got a lot of faith. He'll bang 20 if he's played. Fair enough. I mean, I could see it. Like I've said, I can see him getting a lot of goal contributions. But yeah, it's fair enough. Obviously, good to see Caden in the chat. We will have him on. Like we did back in the day, when obviously we do play Huddersfield both times. And hopefully, if I do go to the games, I will see him there again as well. But obviously, they had Longwick, and he says he's good at going forward, which we've seen. We have seen briefly that he is very good at that. So, yeah, I would totally agree. Tom reckons Anderson will start. Unchanged versus Spurs, in his opinion, what he's going to go with. And then people saying they will join in the predictions. That's good to see. But yeah, moving on through the last bit, which is that time, is score predictions. First game of the season, Dad. Are we going to get that win and have a good start, which is rare for us?
Yeah, I think we will. They are tipped to go down. They have just come up. Really, even the squad we've got now, I'd be happy with that in the Championship. To be honest, so I think we should be able to edge it. There'll be first game nerves and things like that, but ultimately, I think once we start playing our football and we definitely got the better players, then that'll start to show. We've seen that a couple of times, albeit Southend, Gillingham, whatever. They come at us, but eventually, once we started playing the ball down and getting on it, it was easier for us, and I think that's what will happen tomorrow. I'm not sure we will concede a goal. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Luton win.
You know what? That is quite a popular prediction. I've seen a lot of fans say that throughout the week. I'm going to say we do concede a goal, but we do get a win. I'm going to say 2-1 to Luton. I think it can be one of them games where it's maybe 1-1 for quite a while, and then we get a goal maybe in the last 15 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to say we win 2-1 and actually start off well, which is rare for us. Going to the other comments. Jackie said 3-0. I will start it. I will obviously put these in once I've ended it. 3-0, Common You Hatters. Nice. And Jackie's good with predictions. So I'll tell you what, if we started off with a 3-0, that would be excellent. Paul's gone with the same. Obviously, we will do our goal scorers as well. It's gone Wells, Clark, and Ali. Yeah, that's a good 3. 2-0 says Tom, same as you. Phil's gone same as you. Common You Hatters. Jordan, Ali, Wells. That is a popular one at the moment. Big up to Stephen. He says big up. 4-0. Jeez. And then Rich's got the same prediction as me. 2-1. Ali and Longwick. That'd be interesting if Longwick scored. That'd be quite good. But yeah, so 2-0, Dad. Who are our 2 goal scorers?
I'm going to go with Clark and Ali.
I'm going to go... Do you know what? I'm going to go Naismith and Ali. Because opening day of the season, do you know what it's giving me the vibes of? Not quite as many goals. But do you remember when we played Middlesbrough, first game back in the Championship, 3-3, Sonny Bradley scored a banger. And Naismith did nearly score a good goal against Tottenham. Obviously not quite at the level of that Sonny Bradley finish, but he nearly scored from outside the box. So I'm gonna have faith in Naismith, to get a goal. And also, first game in the Premier League, a defender scored for us, Anderson, at Kenilworth Road anyway. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have a faith in Naismith to score tomorrow. But yeah, it's just something I did want to say quickly, and you did mention it earlier, Dad, obviously, when teams will probably, sit back at us. We probably expect that a lot this year, especially at home. So hopefully we find a way to manage to break through it, because I can see a lot of games being like that. And Stephen has put that in the chat here. He says Wimbledon will park the bus and try and frustrate us to say 3-1. Wells, Ali, Clark. Yeah, they're the popular 3 in this game to get the goals. But yeah, just quickly, just a reminder, if you do want to join this predictions thing, just put me in the chat quickly before we end it, and I'll get that sorted, and we'll do it weekly and things like that. Wells and Anderson from a corner, that'd be good, because again, I'll say first Premier League game at Kenilworth Road, he did score, so that'd be quite a good record. Opening day, well, it weren't the opening day then, but you know the point. Opening records at Kenilworth Road, first games of the season. I know. Yeah, he's done that a few times before. But yeah, Dad, any final things you want to say before we end it?
Well, quickly, for the chat GBT prediction is...
Oh, yeah. What's that saying?
Start that up as well. Is 2-1 Luton.
Okay. So, great minds thinking alike. But yeah, 2-1, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, good to see everyone putting me in the chat. But yeah, regarding the game tomorrow, I'll probably do a watch along on TikTok. So basically, I'm watching in this pub, and I was watching the England under-21s final there. It's all quiet, it's all good. And then they did put music on. So obviously, if I do that on a watch along, then obviously the thing will get blocked off. So yeah, I'll just do it on there. But there will be a match reaction anyway on YouTube after. So do check that out. And then I'm going to see on Saturday if I can do something to the Cardiff Peterborough game, because because I think that's quite a good game to look at because it's early kickoff. Cardiff obviously gone down like us. I don't actually think they've signed anyone, which is a bit worrying. If I was a Cardiff fan, I'd be worried about that. And then obviously we've got Peterborough next week, so we'll see if something can go on there. But yeah, obviously I will let you guys know and keep your eyes on the channel anyway, because I might try and do a watch along on YouTube for that one to be a bit quieter midday and things like that. So yeah, I'll see what I can do with that. Yeah, literally, Tom, literally. But yeah, big up to everyone. Like I say, first Hatters Show of the new season. So good to see everyone back in and everything like that. And like I say, there will be a match reaction tomorrow to the games. Do check that out when it does drop. And yeah, that is everything from me and my dad today. So yeah, we'll do the ones where we do it obviously, a few days later. But if there is ones where we play during the week in the St. Johnson's, then we'll probably just leave it to the next one. But yeah, we'll do it early point next week, reaction to this with the player ratings again. And then obviously we'll do our ratings throughout the season. And by the way, last season, I can't remember if I mentioned it, Kaminsky ended up getting the most votes from us, 9. So can Keeley overtake that and get more than 9? Obviously, it gets a bit different because we're doing it from the start of the season this time. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Like I say, smash a like, subscribe, follow me across on my socials, subscribe to the extra channel. And yeah, if you're watching on playback, smash a like as well. And like I say, match reaction tomorrow to the game. Hopefully it's a good start. Come on, you Hatters. Take care. Peace.
Peace.